Fiber stays in the gut. And that is exactly what makes it so fascinating physiologically. Fiber does not work through absorption. It works through presence in the gut. So, if fiber is not absorbed, what is it actually doing? Fiber works directly in the gut. It supports movement, it adds structure, and helps keep things moving efficiently. With too little fiber, transit slows down, stool volume becomes smaller, and some compounds remain in contact with the intestinal wall longer than they should, sometimes even being reabsorbed instead of eliminated. Certain fibers also nourish beneficial bacteria inside the microbiome and help create a healthier gut environment. So even without being absorbed, fiber actively influences what stays, what moves, and what leaves the body. And that brings us to the next question. How does fiber actually do that? Now, that we understand what fiber does inside the gut, the next question is, how does it actually work? We mainly differentiate between two types, soluble and insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber keeps its structure. It adds bulk, supports movement, and helps move content forward more efficiently. Soluble fiber behaves differently. In contact with water, it forms a softer, gel-like environment. And this changes how substances move through the gut and can reduce reabsorption of certain compounds. So one type mainly moves and clears, the others slows and surrounds. And together, they help regulate what stays in the body and what eventually leaves it. So far, we looked at fiber locally inside the gut, but fiber does not stay local. It affects extends throughout the body. It influences blood sugar, cholesterol balance, hormones, satiety, detoxification pathways, the microbiome, and even communication between the gut and the brain. Because the gut is not just a digestive tube, it is a central regulatory system connected to metabolism, immunity, signaling, and long-term health. So let us zoom into a few systems where the effects on fiber become especially visible, and we will start with the microbiome. One of the most important things about fiber is this: fiber is not feeding you, it is feeding your microbiome. Inside the gut live trillions of microorganisms that interact with metabolism, immunity, and the gut barrier. When bacteria ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These help nourish the gut lining, support barrier integrity, and influence immune regulation. So fiber is not only changing digestion, it is shaping the environment in which your body functions. And this communication does not stop inside the intestine. It also reaches the brain, which brings us to the gut-brain axis. The gut constantly communicates with the brain, not only about hunger, but also about energy, stress, inflammation, and safety. And interestingly, most of these communications goes from the gut to the brain, not the other way around. Serotonin is one example. Many people think of it as a brain molecule linked to mood and well-being, but around 90% is actually produced in the gut. That means the condition of the gut can influence signals connected to how we feel and how we function. Fiber helps support the microbiome balance involved in all these pathways. So fiber does not change mood like a drug, but it helps create more stable conditions from which the brain receives its signals. And this principle becomes important for hormones as well. Hormones influence us every single day. Energy, mood, sleep, cravings, concentration, even